Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the final word. Chelsea 0, Everton 0. Now, just before we start, let me just throw this in to the conversation. We've got a new camera. It's amazing. Baz is going to be editing it on his knee.
On the fly.
He's literally like going, so if you seen like his hand moving slowly, then don't be like getting worried. He's just doing a bit of editing. But that might cause a couple of like teething problems in this video. So no complaints, please. This is the first time we've tried it. If there's any issues, it's clearly all down to Baz and his lack of ability to control the camera. There you go. So just want to get that out the way. We're testing new technologies. We're reinvesting into the channel, thanks to you lovely people out there. So let's get into it. Happy with a point down at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, I am. Very happy with it. I'm happy with it because of the way we played as well, not just because it's a point. We've had a point there in the past. We've been hanging on at times in the past to get a point. But apart from 10 minutes spell in the game, 15 maximum, I don't think we were hanging on at all.
No. No, do you know, I mean, I went down to Stamford Bridge yesterday. It was my first away game I've done this season, to be honest. I am shattered. I went down there on an hour's sleep, and I'm still knackered. I'm clearly getting old. What I would say about the place, right, before I get into the game, it's probably the friendliest football ground I've been to for a very, very long time. It was akin to going to the Magic Kingdom. Honest to God, it was just like this. Football, for some people, would be their ideal scenario. To me, it felt, tell you what, it just felt so manufactured, and everyone was so nice, and everyone looked like they were having days out. I mean, the best bit was we just walked around the ground, ruining people's selfies. It was brilliant. Just walking behind people and stuff while they were getting pictures in front of all these, like, Chelsea have created all these things outside to basically like get your picture taken in front of. So we just walked around behind people, making sure their photos were ruined. Good times. But you know what? I had a five and a pint in the ground. What you'd expect. But no, listen. I thought I agree with you on the way we approached it. It was a good performance. We knew it was going to be difficult, but we didn't go down there ultra defensive. We also didn't go down there ultra, we're going to go for this. It was a little bit in between, and it changed during the game as well. And I thought that was, again, the tactics evolving. You know, the substitution showed that with Jagielka coming on as well. The tactics evolved during the game, and I thought that was brilliant. And yeah, you know, they went close on a few occasions, which you'd expect. Listen, this is a team that's gone unbeaten this season. In the top three, really good football side. And I thought we dealt with them really well. And I think the key thing was the last sort of 5-10 minutes, or even when he put the board on saying it was 5 minutes, no one was sitting there really panicking. Sitting in the away end, no one was thinking, oh, here we go. Everyone was just like, we'll see this out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I thought we started the game really well, straight on the front foot, you know, and that always sets the tone. You know, we didn't look, and we've seen this with this Marco Silva team so far this season, particularly away from home. We haven't looked fearful in any game. You know, we've looked like we want to get on the front foot, and that's been evident from day one, really, when we went to Wolves. You know, we went to Wolves, everyone was the top six, and they're going to do this, and we were straight on them. And we've kept that going every game. And I think the biggest thing for me in that game yesterday was there was never a time where we were ragged. And that, to me, was a key thing. We were playing it out from the back. We were drawing them in and playing triangles around them and playing it out from the back. And it was just like night and day compared to last season. You know, you've got Spit the Dog on the co-commentary going on about, you know, I'm really impressed with the way they're playing here, the composure, the show, the draw and Chelsea in. And what was really evident again was this. I mean, it came out in the week, didn't it, that we were the best pressing side in the final third, you know, when we've won the ball back the most. And for a team that likes to play out from the back, such as Chelsea, it was very, very evident to me that we were on them when Luis got the ball and when Rudiger got the ball. We were straight on them. Sometimes they were having to go back or they were just kicking it, trying to get it down the field. And that's a massive thing, to have that in your locker this early into the project. But it just shows you if you put good players in a team, they can play the game.
I think they didn't feel like there was that fear factor going into the game either. It felt like obviously confidence is high. We've been winning games, and it's about tactics. It's about going somewhere in the right frame of mind. And are you worried? And I didn't think as fans there was no one really fearful yesterday going down there. Everyone was like, well, we'll see what happens. Someone said to me, "Oh, what do you think it's going to be today?" And I was like, "You know what? I don't know." And you don't want to be like, "Oh, well, as long as we play well." But that was my attitude yesterday. I want to see us grow. I didn't want us to see us go down there and play in a style that would go against what we've been doing. Because I think that's what's happened far too many times in the past. And it depends on what the style is, of course. If you'd asked me that in the Martinez era, I would have said, right, let's knock all the fancy, whatever his style is, and let's just be pragmatic today. And that I accuse Martinez of that a lot of times. So that would be me, going against myself there, contradicting myself. But I think the way we play, we're not open all the time. We've got a good defensive unit, and that goes into midfield. And I just thought that, or I just think that, like, because we're growing as a team, you just want to see them get better at what they're doing, rather than at this stage go, well, what we've been doing is great, but let's completely change it for someone else because we're playing Chelsea away, or because we're playing Man United away, or Liverpool away, or not. No, stick to it and try and get better at that. That's what I think. I take a team like Bournemouth, right, and you see them, and you've seen all the last 3 or 4 years, and you've watched how, with a team with, not massive resources, and maybe not all the best players in the world, but people say, well, how come they went to this ground and beat? They went to Chelsea and won, didn't he? But then they get beat by Liverpool like 4-0 at home or something like that. And it's because they go into every game the same way, and all they're trying to do is get better and better and better and better at what they're trying to do. Not say, well, this week we're going to do this, and this week we're going to do this. And I think that's been one of our major problems under all our managers, Moyes, Martinez, all of them recently. We've changed our style of play, and that's what I think is key under Silva, is that the style of play in the first place has got to be right, and I think it is right, because we're starting to see the defensive unit get better. We're starting to see the attacking unit get better, and with Gomez going in midfield, I think that's completed the midfield sort of puzzle. Now, I'm not saying it can't get better in terms of personnel, but how he wants to play, those 3 players fit that system for me now, and all complement each other. So it's important that we go to these games and just get better at doing what we're doing, and I think that's what showed yesterday. And as I say, it was fluid as well. It did change during the game because of different things.
Yeah, and that was the key for me as well. You'd always look and think, we're going into this game, we want to win the game, and I'd tweeted Saturday night and Sunday morning, come on Blues, let's do this, it's been too long. But the caveat to that was almost, this is a new team, these are new players, this isn't a team that's done this same journey 5 years on the run and hasn't been able to beat Chelsea. Yeah. This is a new team that Marco Silva's put together, and we're seeing the evidence of that growing week by week, the ability to pass our way out, the ability to press high, and for me, it's such a big change than what we witnessed last season under Sam Allardyce and Koeman at the start. And we often but we often say that Koeman come in with that, we're going to play a high pressing game, and we've seen it for the Tottenham game for 70 minutes, and it never returned under Ronald Koeman. I think the difference with Marco Silva is he set that stall out. What I can't get, sometimes not, it's just one of those things, when you go through your mind, you're watching the team, and then you think back to pre-season, and you think back to that 7 days between that when we were at Goodison watching Valencia beat us to how we performed at Wolves the week later, and then everything else that we've took on from there. And you look back and go, wow, this team hasn't half took that on. And I know that things have changed. Gomez has come in and people like that, and it's improved that Luca Dean has come in. It's but it just shows, and I suppose as Evertonians, this is one of the things we've been starved of at the past is we've always had a couple of good players or 3 or 4 good players. The rest have been average, but we talk them up a bit more because we like them or we think. And now what you're seeing is for the first time, I think in a long time, we've actually got a certain level of player that is better than anything we've seen. So when you see that and you invest in that team, you look at that team, you see what it can do, you start to believe then. You start to look and go, I can see tangible progress here. So the result almost doesn't matter. It does, of course it does, ultimately it does. But if you can actually see those wheels, it's like when we went down to Arsenal. We lost the game 2-0, but I come away from that game thinking, you know what? I've seen what he wants to achieve here. I've seen the progress already. Then we went to United and we were undone by a dodgy penalty, but we still saw what he wanted to achieve. Then we came home and we've beaten, the likes of Crystal Palace. We beat Brighton last week, who'd won games, and we've gone to Chelsea and we've been able to continue that pattern of play.
You've got to be able to go to these places and offer something, because you can't go there and just, if you go there and say, right, we're going to defend for 90 minutes and we're going to batten down the hatches, good sides should be able to score it against you. And then if you've got how many times have we looked at these games and you're almost waiting for that first goal to go in, and when it goes in, you're like, well, that's it, the game's over. We've got nothing to offer. And I'm not saying yesterday was we're sitting in after a 0-0 draw, but we didn't go and just like get 10 men behind the ball or anything like that. You've got to be able to offer a threat. And I think that's what we did. And it was only in the game when maybe that threat become a little bit less, whether it be down to Richarlison's fitness or Gylfi's fitness maybe started to get less and less, or, someone like Hazard started going through, the different areas of the pitch with the ball. And I think it was only once that started happening did they start getting that little bit of control that allowed them to have a little bit of pressure on them. And that shows you, if you're not attacking and you're allowing the opposition team to start getting more and more of the ball, they're going to get into better areas. So you have to have that threat. So for me, I thought we were well balanced. And when we needed to just say, let's make a sub or a decision that stops Chelsea in the tracks. We did that, and I thought we coped quite well. Obviously, Mina came in for his debut as well. He was the only change. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about Richarlison possibly missing the game. You could tell he was something, not right there. But Mina, pretty decent debut, really.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent, to be honest with you. For a debut, listen, he could have come in for his debut at home to Brighton or someone, and people would have gone, well, we're only playing Brighton or whatever. He went to Chelsea, unbeaten, like you've said before. We're not brilliant at Stamford Bridge in terms of our record. Okay, we've had a lot of draws there, but when the last 2 years we played there, we've lost 7-0 on aggregate. So, for him to come in there into the team, and I thought he was comfortable for large parts of the game. Is good on the ball, loves a shimmy, which we said the other night. But I thought his positional play was excellent. There was the odd time he got caught out. Gonna happen. He's not used to playing in this defence, so to speak. So there'll be opportunities at times when people may get in. But in the main, I thought he'd done very, very well indeed. And he's got to watch himself going to ground, because that's how he plays. But in this league now, every tackle is that kind of challenge is a booking.
I thought there was a couple of times in the game, and obviously, listen, not just because it's his first game, but it's his first game in the Premier League. The pace of the game just caught him out, or the pace of a couple of players caught him out. There was one where I think it was Hazard just got in front of him. Hazard got away from him very, very quickly, and it was on. But when you looked at him, he didn't look like he was going full pelt, and that's what I thought. That's what I'm saying. It was almost like Hazard was and got away from him, but he wasn't going full pelt, and it was almost like, oh, I didn't realise I had to move that quickly.
Yeah.
And obviously there was the one with there was the one that he spoke about the penalty on Morata. To me, I think his biggest crime there is that he's not looking at the ball, and that almost says to the referee, you are just trying to foul. But I thought the actual motion of bringing him down was Morata bringing him down. I thought he was very clever. He bought that foul off him rather than Morata off him. But I think the motion of turning your back, he's got to be careful with that, because in this league, I mean, I don't know what a foul is anymore. I don't know what offside is anymore. I don't know what anything is anymore till someone starts doing this. But that's what I think he's got to be careful of, because referees will just look at the fact that he wasn't watching it and they fell on the ball and go, that's a penalty. We see it all the time. They guess.
Yeah.
So he's got to be a little bit more.
Got to be cleverer.
Yeah, it's got to. But I thought he was clever, but the last bit, because Morata brings him down. So people talking about that it's a pen. It's never a pen.
It wasn't a penalty. Morata was all over him. The pair of them, Morata, and that's why they got up and put their heads together and all that, because I think he knew quite well that the pair of them were at it. I just thought he coped admirably. I mean, I think he could see he's a quality player. It's his first, his first Premier League game, his first real game since the World Cup back in June, wasn't it? The end of June or early July, whatever it was. So for him to come in and to play the way he did, be confident on the ball the way he was, he took the ball, he drew people in. I thought he was excellent, and again, it just shows you that you're in a situation where Zuma and Keane have been excellent, and then you've all of a sudden got one of them's had to go out. Zuma's had to go out because of the enforced change. Mina comes in, and then people are going, who's going to come in at the next game? And you're like, well,
what I did think was funny yesterday, there's so many people who had him on for first goal scorer. There's loads. I think he was up 45-1. Loads had him on. I think that was something was cool. I think what was interesting was, though, I think the fact that when we took Sigurdsson off, we brought Jagielka on. I think that could be a sign of a tactical change the manager now has. Not obviously not with Jagielka, but with having Keane, Zuma, and Mina. He now has the ability to change the system in the game to maybe see out a game or just change the way we play. Don't forget, 3 at the back doesn't have to be a negative change. It can be a positive change. It can push your wing backs on. They become wing backs. And now with Digne on the left-hand side, you've now got someone who is a brilliant attacker going forward. If suddenly you can say to Digne, you don't have to worry about defending. We've got that covered. Suddenly, that's a much more of an added attacking threat. If and if you look at it on the basis of Sigurdsson's injury, obviously we'll speak about that in a minute. But let's say Sigurdsson stays out, and the manager says, "Well, I don't want to bring Richarlison back to the left." Because what he could do there is say, well, Bernard could play centrally, let's say, if he wanted to. And instead of saying, well, let's play with Richarlison on the left again, he could quite clearly leave Richarlison up front and go to 3 at the back and start pushing Digne down the left. That could be a tactical change that he could look at. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not Cardiff, but let's just say we'll go to Anfield and he goes, well, we want to be a little bit more solid, but he suddenly Digne's the width then rather than having. So I think that's it. I think that's somewhere now where he. I don't want him to go to 3 at the back, because I just think that's. I've said before. I think managers who change systems like that don't have a grip of their players, are not willing to make a tough decision. If you've got 3 players that don't, in 2 positions, we've seen it before. I think weak managers go, we're just going to play 3 at the back. No, if you want to play 4 at the back and you've got 3 players you can play in 2, you've got to make that decision. I think we've got a manager who will make that decision, but I think now we've got the flexibility of a tactical change.
Definitely, but I don't think there's anything wrong with being flexible in terms of formations. And if you've got 3 very good centre backs, which we ultimately have now, then you can make those decisions, because it will change with who you're playing against. Antonio Conte won the league on 3-5-2. I mean, yesterday at times we were playing 4-4-2. which Leicester won the league on. So it's fine to go between the two. If you play 3 centre-backs, it becomes a 3-4-3 because your 2 wide players, say Walcott, say Bernard, what have you, they can go and play right up alongside Richarlison because you've got the width from Dean, you've got the width from Coleman, you've got that flexibility. What it will do is obviously just leaves you with 2 in midfield, but it's 4 in midfield, so it's how you play. I mean, yesterday when he put Jagielka on, I'll be honest, at first you're thinking, I don't know whether I've done that. You're just thinking, is he playing for the draw? But it wasn't. It pushed us on, because if you look at it, the last 10 minutes, we actually came back into the game. Lookman got on the ball a little bit more. Walcott was, you're looking at that to think we can push them back up the pitch a bit.
They'd done Digne a couple of times inside. They'd put that ball inside Digne a couple of times, and because he is an attacking fullback, there was one where they threaded it inside and William got in and put it just wide, and when Digne was running backwards, and if you watch it again, he turns his body while he's running, and it slows him down, because he was backtracking and then spins, and it gives Willian the chance to get ahead of him. And it's that, I think, as soon as you went to 3, that outlet was blocked off then as well. It's just little changes like that you want from a manager, to notice where they were getting in. And that, see, I was worried. We were looking at the last sub and thinking, who's it going to be? And I thought, well, if it's Giroud, then I'm worried, because they were going to have to start just throwing balls in the box because we pushed them out wide. And when he brought Barkley on it, apart from, obviously, you're going, oh no, it's Barkley, you know what's coming next. But I think emotionally, that's where their manager got it wrong. I think if he thought about it rationally and tactically, Giroud would have been a man who's always scored against us. And if the right ball's in the box, whereas Barkley, the game got to, our fans didn't get, I wouldn't say they absolutely give him loads of pelters, but he made the presence known, because he had to warm up down our end, and our fans just made it known. They didn't go over the top, it wasn't anything stupid, but they just made it known, and you could see it on his face. It was almost like, it was nerves, but it was almost like, I'm going to go out there and show you. And he did what he did what happens a lot of the times. He just tried too hard, and that's where I just think their manager just made that mistake, because I just thought, they were from wide positions. That was their best opportunity. And once we got the 3 centre backs, I thought we coped with it quite well. There you have it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments from this game, or just on anything. Let us know. If you've been watching on YouTube and you want to watch the full version of this video, get over to Patreon and check it out, because it's like an hour long, and this will probably be about 20 minutes long. If you want the whole thing, get over to Patreon. Check that out. Thanks for watching Toffee TV. I'll see you later.